everybody, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. Jen here, and yes, I am still in my Finish 2025 strong. I will be giving you an update on all of that very, very soon. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my 10 essentials, things that I have loved over the past 2.5 years, things that have helped me lose over 90 pounds. I started with Mounjaro, now I'm on compounded Tirzepatide, and I just love sharing with you all of my tips and tools and tricks and everything that I'm doing currently and have been doing for the past 2.5 years to hopefully keep me with this sustainable, healthy lifestyle down the road. And so I think the things that I'm going to talk about this in the video are things that I literally cannot live without on my GLP-1 journey. These are my absolute essentials. The things that make this process, I feel like, smoother, healthier, and at times just, you gotta find a little fun in things. But before I get into those, I really want you all to do an exercise with me, because this isn't about my 10 essentials, this is about yours, right? So what I want you to do is I want to organize things into 4 categories. Let's think of it like nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress. Those 4 categories. Now I want you to take a step back and think about all the products that you're currently using or you've thought about wanting to get the past couple of months, right? Because this is Black Friday time. I don't want to tell you what to get. I want you to do this exercise, right? Because the best time to buy or stock up or just that one thing you've been thinking about getting, now is the time to strike. I just tell you right now, do you need spares of something? Do you need to replenish your stock? I want you to write it down. Like, why I did those 4 categories is I think it helps, because think about like nutrition, right? For me, I could look at it from electrolytes and creatine. I could go all of a sudden and think, how am I on my food prep containers? Do I have enough of my Pyrex containers? My food scale, I've had no issues with that, so I don't need to replace it. And as I was walking around, I'm like, oh, I wanted another like Ninja air fryer container. Let me jot that down so I can look for a sale. I spent a good amount of time in my kitchen and my pantry. And then I took a step back and I was like, let's think about it now with movement, right? Do you need a new pair of sneakers? Walking, running, workout. Do you need new workout tights, tops, bras, socks? Do you want to finally make that plunge for that walking pad? Write it down. This doesn't mean you're going to get it, but write it down. Then move on to the sleep category. For me, I was like, okay, I needed another silk pillowcase. I'm obsessed. I got one Christmas last year. I feel like it helps because I have very thin hair. I think it helps like just prevent any sort of breakage. And then I like open the drawer. I was like, do I need any PJs? Then I also I put skincare in this category, right? I know that my spa runs a killer sale this time of year, so I stock up. And then that last category, which, let's be real here, you may have your own categories. I'm just starting to think of it like in these 4 that I've talked about. But if you have different categories, what would they be? Comment below. But when you think about stress, right, I look at it as a way to kind of like think about what I'm currently using to keep me like calm and maybe have like a stress-free day. I burn beeswax candles. So I wrote that down because they're pricey and I only want to get them when they're on sale. I was like, oh my God, I need a new heating blanket. If it's your first time going through a winter on a GLP-1, get a heating blanket, right? Maybe you wanted to invest in a red light therapy. I don't know. Like, these are things to start thinking about the past couple months that you have been wanting. Jot it down so you're not overwhelmed. And it doesn't have to be someone telling you what you need, right? Just walk around it could be a day or 2, but take the time and like build that list and then watch for those sales to roll in. I have been doing this for the past couple days and sorry, I totally went off topic there. I'm going to reel it back, but that is such a great exercise to do. But let's go ahead and talk about my 10 essentials, right? And I really am going to look forward to your comments on what you agree with, what you disagree with. But I would love to know, what is your top 10 or maybe what is your top 3? I want this to be kind of like a fun video. I don't want you to be like, she's telling me what I need, but I'm going to start off with the obvious one. My medication. Why would I not start off with that? This is a GLP-1 weight loss journey. So if you're on Mounjaro, Wegovy, Zepbound, we know this is the foundation of our journey. So that is my number one essential, because I feel like for the past 2.5 years, my medication has helped me like regain control over my hunger, finally just help me build that healthy relationship with food again. But here's the thing. I say it in almost all my videos. I think the shot is not a solution by itself. It is a tool. It has given me so much space that I needed to build those habits that actually stick. And shockingly, there are sales. I had no idea that telehealth companies do sales. I started just getting emails. Comment below if you're getting emails from like Join Friday, Orderly, Mochi. I can't believe that they give savings, but I say take advantage of that because, like me, my insurance does not cover my medication anymore and it is getting really pricey. Shop those deals. Then next up, I want to talk about my Racin' walking sneakers. I have put so many miles on my sneakers. If you follow my channel, you know how much I love walking. It is my therapy, it's my daily reset, and I think it is honestly the most underrated fat loss tool. I walk every single day. I even have a step goal from now until the end of the year. But for me, it's like, even if it's just a 10-minute get up, get some steps in, I'm doing it. And I feel like when I found walking specific sneakers, it was a game changer for me because I'm all about comfort and support. I battled plantar fasciitis for years in the past. I've tried every therapy to fix it. I'm so particular with my shoes. And I say, find one that fits you great, but I love these because they're lightweight, they're cushioned. They don't leave my feet aching, even after like I'm on like a good 3-4 mile walk with a weighted vest or I'm hiking. Like, I just say, don't overthink it. Like, you know, when you were thinking about like an essential, think about it from like, if you're a runner, maybe running sneakers are your essential. But for me, every step counts. And because I'm a walker, I want the right shoe that's gonna keep me going. And also, because I don't just have one thing of things, I had to get a couple because I need to make sure it matches my outfit. But go ahead, comment below. If you're a walker, right? Do you walk in the morning? Do you walk in the evenings? Do you just after your meals? I've heard so many amazing things about just after a meal going for like a little brisk short walk. I'm into walking at my desk now. But like I said, find yourself a good pair of sneakers if you're a walker, runner, trainer, right? Then the next one is my Hume Health Body Pod. And I know you've seen me talk about this a lot on my channel. No, this is not the very first scale that I got. I've recently wanted to get into tracking body composition and progress just beyond that like number on the scale, because if you're on a GLP-1, we should know that the scale, that one number doesn't really tell that full story, because some weeks, you know, I feel like my weight will stay the same, but I can see my body fat drop, my muscle maybe went up. This past week, I gained 3.5 pounds, but I ended the week at 1 pound lost. And I was able to look through the data on that. And I think like if I didn't, I would be so frustrated, because there's times where that number, like you're not losing weight, that number's not moving. And I think that there's so much more than just that number that you're weighing in. And I think, you know, my scale, that's my choice, but I started with a Renpho. Before that was an E-Tech City. I keep upgrading because I'm looking for those big sales to strike. And I think right now, and probably until the new year, is when you're gonna start seeing a lot of like scales on sale as well. But I just love a good savings. I don't just buy to buy. I am very strategic. And then the next essential is all around hydration, right? Because I think this is one that can be a total game changer, and it was for me. Because when I first started my GLP-1, I didn't realize how much like hydration really affects everything. Your energy, digestion, focus, hunger cues, can keep some of the side effects at bay. So in that category, I've invested in 2 things. These are my 2 essentials under hydration. I got myself a fun water bottle. I got a couple different colors. I enjoy drinking out of it. Then I put my favorite electrolyte in it, which I love Element. I also love Motapure. But Element right now has been my go-to for the past couple months because it really tastes good. It has no sugar. I think for me, it had that perfect balance that I was looking for from like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and it keeps me hydrated, especially on the days where I am walking and strength training, or even like warmer days in the summer. I love how I can rotate some flavors depending on what mood I'm in. I love raspberry, watermelon, lemonade has been my new fave. It's got like a little sweetness to it and I love it and it's refreshing, and I have it first, like soon as I get up first thing in the morning. And if you struggle to drink enough water, try mixing in an electrolyte. I have tried so many, and I feel like I finally found a couple that I'm like, this is it. I love these. And comment below, what is your like go-to flavor, or like what is your hydration hack, right? Because I'm always looking for like new ideas, and I'll try some new things. Oh my God, I'll be completely honest. I'm not gonna say the name, but there was one that I was like, I don't know how people love this. But for me, I get my levels checked. I just had all my blood work done and they were perfect. So that's why I know these are working. My levels aren't up, they're not down. It is perfect. I'm gonna stick with it. And then the next, let's talk about protein. We could be talking about protein powder or like ready-to-made drinks, right? Because we know how important protein is on a GLP-1. Our appetite's a little bit smaller. So I feel like we have to be intentional about trying to hit our protein goal. And I think that's where these can come in. That's why they're under the category of like supplements, right? My go-to has always been that Fairlife nutrition plan, the chocolate shake. It's a grab and go. I pour it in my coffee every single morning. Then I've been searching for powders. I've loved Flav City. I also love Levels chocolate whey protein, but Fairlife has just been something that I think it's the convenience thing. It's fast, it mixes well, and it's good. But I feel like Levels chocolate whey is steadily starting to become my favorite. I also love to mix it in a little Greek yogurt every once in a while. But I feel like if you're watching this and you're struggling to maybe find one you actually enjoy, trust me, I feel like I've tried them all. Don't give up. Keep trying. What I like, you may not like, and vice versa. But I feel like finding one that you like can be a total game changer. And if you have a favorite brand, I want to hear it below in the comments, because maybe there's something I haven't tried and I love discovering, you know, new products that are out there. And I also, not necessarily like powders, but I have been getting into bone broth, especially with the colder weather. And I've talked about that on my channel before. And then the next essential is all around strength training, because I think the truth is that fat loss and muscle gain can go hand in hand, and it can even on a GLP-1. But when I first started, I started a little bit smaller, right? So I had some resistance bands, I had dumbbells. I did also have a gym membership, but you don't need a fancy gym. I just happened to be going to the gym prior to my journey. I just wanted to find something that was going to provide me consistency. Strength training has now turned into one of my favorite parts of the week, because I feel like it helped shape my body, boost my metabolism, and I want to feel strong again. And I feel like if you're scared to start, don't overcomplicate this, right? Grab a resistance band, turn on YouTube, find a nice little simple beginner workout program, or just move. But I think you'll be amazed at how fast you can improve. And don't expect to have perfect form right away, and don't get frustrated. Just keep showing up. And then I know this next essential is going to sound very boring, and I'm okay with keeping it on my list, and that is my food scale. Because this has been one of the best teachers for me, because I measure my food off and on, because I like to know what my portion sizes are, even with healthy food, because there's been times where I feel like I'm under eating. And I think it helps me learn true portions, what they look like. And then eventually, I don't really need to track as often. Like I said, I could do 1 week on, 2 weeks off, and I can get better with eyeballing things. And I think it's just a good tool to have to learn. I don't see it as restriction, maybe because I never used it as a form of restriction. I've always used it as a form of awareness, because I think knowledge is power, especially when it comes to, fueling your body the right way for you. And then next up, my wearables. Yes, I have 2 of them. This is embarrassing. So I have an Apple Watch Ultra and I have the Hume Health Band, right? I know that sounds super extra. You don't need 2 of them. You don't need to have them and an Oura Ring. Hear me out. Right now, they do different things. And I think together, this is a little fun thing for me. It's giving me this like full picture of what's really going on in my body. I do not recommend having more than one wearable, but like, this is where you could start if you don't have one, learning what your needs are. Like this is my daily go-to, tracks my steps, workout, sleep, heart rate, holds me accountable, does a ton of things, right? I also love closing the rings, being able to like look back at my progress. It beeps and it's like, girls, stand up, because I've been sitting for an hour. I have it telling me to stand up every hour. It's like my fitness buddy. And it kind of just basically allows me to never slack off as long as I listen to it. And then the Hume Health Band, I'm still learning all the powerful capabilities of this. As you can tell, it doesn't have a screen, right? But I think it dives deeper into like recovery, readiness, and body composition. And I feel like it's kind of like, you know, taking tracking to like that next level. It's not a fitness tracker. And that's been very eye-opening for me to see how my habits affect my energy, sleep, performance. And if you use a tracker too, let me know in the comments below. Oh my God, I know so many people that love the Fitbit and the simplicity of it, but what do you use? What is your favorite? If you don't use one, what are you looking at getting? You want me to answer any questions? Ask them below. And then another essential that might not sound super glamorous. Yeah, I'm putting my meal prep containers. This is a GLP-1 weight loss journey. These are my essentials. I put meal prep containers on there because let's be real, when I feel like hunger hits, especially for me, I feel like sometimes it hits fast, right? So I like to have meals ready, that I don't then start reaching for random things, or I have the ability to walk to so many different restaurants and food stores, and I know if I do that, I'm gonna regret it. So I keep like simple proteins, veggies, carbs, some sauces, maybe I'll do a little salad dressing, right? Like, I don't think it has to be complicated. These are just kind of ready to go, you know, plug and play meals. Plus, there's something about seeing my fridge, how it's like neatly organized. I don't know, it feels like I have my life together. And even though like the rest of my kitchen may not, my pantry might say otherwise right now, my freezer, because Thanksgiving's coming up, so I had to stock up on some things. But then the very last essential, I only have a couple on my Little Words Project bracelets, because these are my daily reminders of how far I've come. And I wear ones that say like good energy, manifest, making waves, trust being, as in I interpret that as trust the process, trust yourself. Because I think some days motivation fades. But sometimes having this like little small reminder on your wrist, like, I don't know, it can reignite your fire, right? And so every time I look at them, I remember how I started. I remember where I've been and where I am now. I have one that's in my era. I have the Manifest is the very first one I got when I started this 2.5 years ago. So if you want to take anything from this video, find little things that remind you of your why. And it doesn't have to be jewelry, right? It could be a quote on, say you put it on your phone. Maybe you have a vision board, or you create these playlists, right? That make you feel powerful while you're working out. Look for those things, right? That give you that spark. So that's it. Those are my 10 weight loss essentials. I feel like these are the things that have made my journey sustainable. Outside the wearables, there's nothing on my list that's like ridiculously expensive. They're very simple essentials. But I would love to hear what you think your essentials are. They're very similar to mine. Are they different? If you want to give all 10, just give me your top 3. Like, what is that one thing you can't live without that makes this process easier, or in some ways makes it more fun? But drop it in the comments below, because maybe we could all build our own must-have lists together. When you're doing that exercise that I talked about earlier, then you could start thinking of some other things from other people. But if you enjoyed my video, please, I would love if you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, subscribe. Share this with somebody that's starting their GLP-1, you know, whoever you think can get some value out of this. And remember, it's just about that like number. I always say this, it's not about that number on the scale. I think it's like building a life that you love, one habit at a time, keeping your essentials just simple. And I'm gonna link my Amazon store below, but this isn't what this video is about. I think this video is about you taking the time to learn what your essentials are and be able to strike when there is a deal, because there's nothing I love more than stocking up in some areas, saving money, and now having this bucket of money available to me to then be able to maybe get 1 or 2 more months of my GLP-1 medication, because let's be real, that is so expensive. It is, and I understand why it is. That's for a whole nother video. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you enjoyed my top 10. I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.